So, computer is an electronic device that manipulates information or data. It is designed to process data, provide useful information, and solve problems. That it has the ability to store and retrieve data. Ito rin ay magagamit dahil ang computer ay maaari kang makagawa ng iyong presentation, type documents, prepare letters, sending emails, or edit or create videos, and spreadsheet, and so on and so forth. And this will help you to understand how computer evolves, explain the major functions of computer, learn the characteristic of computer and classification of a computer. Learning outcome. By the end of this module, the students will be able to discuss and define what is computer and its function and its characteristic, and explain how computer came into existence, and lastly, enumerate and define the classification of a computer. So, a computer is electronic devices or that can manipulate a data, and it also accepts the raw data as input and processes it with a set of instruction or a program to reduce the result as an output. The term computer came from Latin word computere, which means to calculate or magkalkula. And it is a machine that performs processes, calculations, operations based on instruction provided by a software or a hardware program. And also, it is designed to execute applications. And did you know that Charles Babbage is also known as the father of the computer? So we have now the benefits of the computer. Number 1 is increase your productivity. Ang paggamit ng computer ay nagpapabilis ng paggawa ng mga dokumento. Halimbawa na lamang ng paggamit ng isang word processor na kung saan ay maaari kang gumawa, mag-edit, mag-imbak, at mag-print ng mga dokumento ng mas mabilis at mas madali. At number 2, meron tayong connect to the internet. Ang computer ay nagbibigay ng kakayahang kumonekta sa internet na kung saan ay maaari kang magpadala ng mga emails, mensahe, at maaari ka ring mag-browse ng information tulad sa Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and so on and so forth. At meron tayong pangatlo, storage. Ang computer ay may malaking kapasidad upang makapag-imbak ng maraming information at mga file. And number 4, we have the organized data and information. Bukod sa pag-iimbak ng data, maaari mo rin itong ayusin sa pagkasunod-sunod at upang mas mapadali mo itong mahanap at gamitin. At nakabukod na rin ang mga file and information. And number 5, we have the improve your abilities. Ang paggamit ng computer ay nakakatulong sa atin upang mag-improve ang English natin, lalo na sa aming mga guro. At the way yung grammar and spelling. Number 6 is assist the physically challenged. Ang computer ay nakakatulong at maaaring gamitin ng mga taong may kapansanan. Halimbawa na lamang ni Stephen Hawking na ang computer ay natulungan siya upang makapagsalita at meron ding software na tumutulong sa mga bulag upang makabasa and nasa screen. And number 7, keeps you entertained. Ang computer ay maaaring gamitin sa panonood, pakikinig ng music, at paglalaro ng online games, at mag-movie marathon, or gawing libangan, kumbaga. Paano nga ba ito naging bahagi sa ating buhay? Katulad na lamang ng ATM, kapag kumukuha tayo ng pera sa ATM, is gumagamit tayo ng computer upang mabasa ang ating utos, yung paglalagay ng card at maglalabas ito ng pera. Meron din tayong digital currency na ang mga transaction sa bangko ay nakaimbak bilang digital records. Kaya ang ating pera na nailagay sa mga bank accounts ay isang digital money or pera. So, meron naman tayong trading na tinatawag. Ang mga stock sa market ay gumagamit din ng computer para sa pang-araw-araw na kalakalan. May mga advanced algorithm na nagpapagana sa trading nang hindi na nangangailangan ng tao. At meron din ng smartphone or mga cellphones na ginagamit natin pang araw-araw upang makapagtawag, text, mag-browse sa social media like Facebook, Instagram, kung saan palagi tayong active sa social media. At isa rin itong uri ng computer. At VoIP na tinatawag natin Voice over IP ay pinapagana ng mga computer. Dahil ang computer ay isang mahalagang bahagi or parte na sa ating pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. Dahil ginagamit natin ito sa pang-araw-araw natin katulad sa trabaho, edukasyon, negosyo at maging sa pang-araw-araw natin gawain tulad ng pakikipag-usap or pakikipag-ugnayan sa iba. At ito din ang progress ng information dahil sa technology advancement na tinatawag. Dahil dito na rin tayo nakatira sa mundo na kung saan ay modernized world or modernong mundo na tinatawag. The following diagram shows an example of these functions. So we now proceed to the input function. The input function or the input computer function accepts data from input devices and send it to the computer processor. And the raw data information or raw information entered into a computer from the input devices. And its common input peripherals include the keyboard, mouse, stylus, and touchscreens. It also has the digital cameras, smartphones, scanners, and joystick, and can also use to input information into a computer. And these are the example. You can see it in the picture. And we have the number 2, the data processing function. The data processing function is the most basic function of the computer. It operates the data as per given instruction. And this function is performed by the Central Processing Unit or the CPU, which consists of electronic circuits and that can read the execute code instruction to perform a wide range of tasks, from performing complex mathematical calculations to sorting the entries in a database. And the CPU is known as the brain of the computer, and it accepted in input data in instruction executing commands, storing results in memory, and sending data to the output devices. And it also controls the sequence of the operation and the use of data storage. Number 3, output function. The process of producing the useful information for the user after processing input data. And after processing the input data, the CPU or auxiliary processor or the process of function sends the processed data to the output function or to the difficult or configured output devices. Each output device presents the processed data in a different form. For example, is a monitor, a printer, speaker, displays, prints, and other output data. So lastly, we have the data storage function. It is one of the most useful functions of the computer is a data storage. Besides storing data that has been input through peripherals, computers are also need a way to save the results of a data processing. An example of RAM, ROM, CD, DVD, memory card, and hard disk.
Dumako naman po tayo sa temporary and permanent storage and characteristic of a computer. Temporary storage components are used to store data temporarily. Data is stored in a temporary storage component is erased when the system is shut down. RAM is compulsory temporary storage component of a computer uses the RAM to store the running applications and their data. Makikita rin ito sa cellphone, no? Kahit wala kang memory card na naka-insert sa CPU mo, is pwede kang mag-download ng apps at ikikip nyo yung mga pictures mo. Pero temporary lang siya. Kasi kapag, for example, nabasag yung cellphone mo at pina-repair mo and they need to reset your phone, madidelete lahat ng apps and even your photos. Sa permanent storage naman po tayo. Permanent storage component is not erased when the system is shut down. The hard disk is a common permanent storage. Usually, all computers have at least one hard disk to store data. Dito naman, kapag nag-insert ka ng memory card or USB, safe yung mga files, apps, and even your photos. Kahit masira pa ng paulit-ulit yung cellphone or computer mo, is safe yung mga nakasave sa memory card or USB. Sa characteristic of a computer naman po tayo. Number 1 is speed. As you know, computer can work very fast. It takes only few seconds for calculation that will take hours to complete. And nowadays, computer can use to collecting data in just seconds, just to input what do you want to collect. Number 2, accuracy. The degree of accuracy of a computer is very high and very calculation is performed with the same accuracy. Ngayon, mas nagtitiwala tayo sa mga computer, layong-layo na sa mga pagko-compute, diba? Kasi very accurate yung binibigay niyang result. Even in politics, kung paano sila magboto, magbilang ng boto, sa computer sila umaasa. The third one is diligence. A computer is free from tiredness, lack of concentration, fatigue, and etc. It can work hours without creating any errors. If millions of calculations are to be performed, a computer will perform every calculation with the same accuracy. Ginagamit rin ito sa pagko-compute ng mga boto. Kapag elections, milyon-milyon ang bilang ng mga mamboboto. With the help of computer, kahit saang sulok ng lugar yan is nakokolek niya yung mga bilang ng mga boto. And fourth, versatility. It means the capacity to perform completely different type of work. You may use your computer to prepare documents or PPT for your presentation. Next moment, you may use it for playing games. Number 5, power of remembering. Computer has the power of storing any amount of information or data. Any information can be stored and recalled as long as you required it. Number 6 is no IQ. Computer is a dumb machine and it cannot do any work without instruction from the user. It is you to decide what you want to do and in what sequence. So a computer cannot take its own decision as you can. Siyempre, without us, hindi gagana ang computer. Nakadepende sa atin kung ano ang ipapagawa natin or gagawin natin sa computer. Second to the last, number 7. No feeling. It does not have feelings or emotion, taste, knowledge, and experience. Thus, it does not get tired even after long hours of work. Wala siyang feeling. It means kahit gamitin mo siya magdamag, as long as nakasaksak, kaya niya. Number 8, storage. A computer has unbuilt memory where it can store a large of data. You can also store data in secondary storage devices such as USB. At pwede mong i-insert sa kabilang computer para magamit mo yung mga nasa loob ng USB. I mean yung mga files na nakapaloob doon, di ba?
So, dumako naman po tayo to our next topic, which is yung history of computers. The first list in the history of computers is the abacus. Abacus ay isang pinakaunang kagamitan sa pagkakalkula used in China 4,000 years ago. May beads sa rods na ini-slide para magbilang, mag-add, mag-subtract, mag-multiply at mag-divide. Hanggang ngayon, ginagamit pa rin ito sa ilang bansa tulad ng China at Japan para turuan ng mga bata ng basic arithmetic. Pangalawa naman ay ang Napier's bones. Ang Napier's bones ay ginawa ni John Napier noong 1600s. Ito ay isang set ng rods na may nakaukit na numbers. Ginagamit ito sa multiplication at division sa pamamagitan ng pagtutugma ng numbers sa rods. Isa rin ito sa mga unang nagpakilala ng decimal point para gawing mas madali ang calculations. Ang pangatlo naman is ang Pascaline, isang mechanical calculator na ginawa ni Blaise Pascal noong 1642 to 1644 para matulungan ang kanyang ama sa pangongolekta ng buwis. Gumagamit ito ng gears at dial para mag-add at subtract, ngunit hindi kayang mag-multiply o mag-divide. Isa ito sa unang hakbang patungo sa automated computing. Ang pang-apat naman ay ang step reckoner na inimbento ni Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz noong 1673 bilang mas advanced na version ng Pascaline. Gumagamit ito ng fluted drums at isang crank para makagawa ng basic arithmetic operations tulad ng addition, subtraction, multiplication at division. Ang panglima ay ang difference engine na idinisenyo ni Charles Babbage noong 1820s para otomatikong magkalkula ng mathematical tables, particular na ang logarithm tables, pero hindi ito natapos. Ito ang naging basehan ng mas advanced na computing machines. Ang pang-anim naman ay ang analytical engine. Ito ay mas advanced kaysa sa difference engine na ginawa rin ni Babbage noong 1830s. May kakayahang magsagawa ng anumang mathematical computation gamit ang punch card. Ito ang unang konsepto ng programmable computer, ngunit hindi rin ito natapos sa panahon niya. 7 is the tabulating machine na ginawa ni Herman Hollerith noong 1890 para mapabilis ang pagproseso ng data gamit ang punch card. Ginamit ito sa US Census ng 1890 at naging daan para mabuo ang IBM o International Business Machine. Number 8 is the differential analyzer, unang electronic computer na binuo ni Vannevar Bush noong 1930. Gumagamit ito ng vacuum tubes at gears para mag-solve ng complex differential equations. Isa itong analog computer na ginagamit sa siyentipikong pagsusuri at engineering calculations. Ang panghuli naman ay ang Mark I. Ginawa ni Howard Aiken at IBM or International Business Machine Corporation noong 1944. Ito ang unang full-scale programmable digital computer. Ginamit sa malalaking mathematical computations noong World War II, lalo na sa siyentipikong pananaliksik at militar applications. Ginamit nito ang punch tape para sa pag-input ng instructions. Mula sa simpleng abacus hanggang sa Mark I, makikita natin ang patuloy na pag-unlad ng teknolohiya sa larangan ng calculations. Ang bawat inbensyon ay nagbigay ng daan sa mas mabilis at mas epektibong paraan ng pag-compute na humantong ng pagkakaroon ng modernong computer. Ang mga makinang ito ay hindi lang nakatulong sa matematika, kundi naging pundasyon din ng automation at technological innovation.
So now let's move on to the generation of computers. Dito malalaman natin yung different generations ng mga computer. So, in 1946, electronic pathways called circuits were developed to perform the counting. It replaced the gears and other mechanical parts used for counting in previous computing machine. So, during 1946, madami silang mga dinevelop na performance sa mga computer kung saan binago nila yung mga gears, mechanical parts, pinalitan nila yung mga iyon upang ma-improve yung isang computer. Unti-unti nilang na-improve yung mga computer dahil sa mga inovasyong ito is napabuti nila yung functions ng mga computer. Tignan nyo yung mga latest generation ngayon na computer ay dahil sa pagde-develop nila, naging advanced yung mga computer ngayon compared sa mga naunang computer. The first generation computers is built in 1946 to 1959. In these computers, ginamitan nila ito ng mga vacuum tubes at ginamit nilang basic component ang CPU o stands for Central Processing Unit. It is a primary component of computer that performs most of the processing and execute instructions for the operating system and applications. Wherein sa mga computer na ito is dahil sa paggamit nila ng vacuum tube, malalaki o bulky yung mga computer noon compared sa mga computer naman ngayon na flat. Which is yung mga computer noon ay nagko-consume din ng mas mataas na energy or kuryente. Ito yung mga examples ng first generation computer. The ENIAC, EDVAC, UNIVAC 1, IBM 701, IBM 650. The ENIAC is ENIAC or Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer is mas malaki at mas mabigat kaysa sa Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer o si EDVAC. Mas advanced naman yung disenyo ni EDVAC compared kay ENIAC. Si UNIVAC ay ginamit naman sa pangalakal at mas nagkakaroon siya ng problema dahil sa vacuum tube na ginamit sa kanya. Next, the second generation computers are built in 1959 to 1965. These computers use transistor which were cheap, compact, and consuming less power. Wherein sa mga computer na ito is ginamitan nila ng mga transistor para mas mabilis kaysa sa mga first generation computers. Ginamitan ito ng transistors para mas mura, mas compact, mas mababa mag-consume ng energy. At kaysa sa mga vacuum na malakas mag-consume ng energy. Ito rin ay mas mabilis kaysa sa unang generations. Dito, mababasa natin yung assembly language and programming languages like COBOL and Fortran na ginamit nila, which is COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language, which include the usage of numbers and letters. Ginamit para sa pangalakal at pang-administrasyon. Yung Fortran naman ay Formula Translating System na programming language ginamit para sa pang-agham na may expression na pang-matematika. These are the examples or popular examples of second generation's computers are IBM 1620, IBM 794, CDC 1604, CDC 3600, UNIVAC 1108. Next, third generation computers are 1960, in between 1960 to 1970. They use integrated circuits in these computers. Dahil sa paggamit nila ng integrated circuits instead of transistors, naging mas mabilis yung mga computer ng third generation at mas powerful kaysa sa mga naunang generation. Mas maliliit na rin sila at mas less mag-consume ng power at nagtatagal. Ginamitan ito ng integrated circuits na mas compatible kaysa sa mga transistors. Ito ay naging mas mabilis kaysa sa transistors na kung saan yung ICs ginamit sa pagde-develop ng modernong computer. Kaya dito, yung mga third generation computer ay mas naging efficient dahil dito ginamitan ito ng processing, remote processing, time sharing, multi-programming at mas mabilis para mas maging mabilis or madali yung proseso or access sa mga information or data. These are the examples of third generation computers: the IBM 360 series, Honeywell 6000 series, PDP personal data processor, IBM 370 or 1680 DC316. Ang IBM 360 series almost same sa functions sa IBM 620 pero higit na mas mabilis yung proseso nito. Honeywell 6000 series mas malawak ang memory at capacity na mag-collect ng mga data. PDP, Personal Data Processor, mas applicable dahil dito mas maliit dahil ito ay mas maliit at mas magandang gamitin sa pag-process ng mga data, sa pag-input, output, at maghanay ng mga result kung saan may kakayahan din itong mag-retrieve ng data. Next, fourth generation computers. They are built in 1971 to 1980. These computers use a very large scale integrated circuits kung saan itong VLSI na ito is nagko-contain siya ng million of transistors. Cheap lang siya pero nagko-contain siya ng million of transistors na kung saan is etong computer na ito ay ginamit sa fourth generation computer para mas maging compact, powerful, fast, and affordable yung functions at yung computer. Ginamitan ito ng VLSI o very large scale integrated circuits which improve the design and functions. Ito na nga sinabi ko kanina. Which, with the use of VLSI circuits, make the computer process information faster and more efficiently. The VLSI, ang VLSI ang naging pundasyon or foundation para ma-build nila yung mga modernong computer na nagagawa niyang maging advanced or advanced yung katangian nito na maaari kang mag-multitask. Next, sa 5th generation computers na tayo. Since 1980 to present, ito, the VLSI technology was replaced with
ULSI, Ultra Large Scale Integrator. These are the computers spans from 1980 to present, in which a generation characterized with the use of ultra large scale integration technology, parallel processing hardware, and AI. The features of this enable the development of larger, more efficient devices and capacity of computers to store large amount of data. Dito rin ay nakikita natin yung mga features ng ating mga computer ngayon ay may AI, which shows the advancement transform the way computers process information and perform tasks faster. Now, I am going to discuss about the classifications of computers. So, unahin muna natin yung two categories of computer under purpose. The general purpose computer and the specific purpose computer. So, yung general purpose computer is designed to perform various tasks which has processor, memory, and data storage devices to execute such variety of programs. These computers are commonly used for gaming, browsing, and data analysis. They are efficient for professional and personal use. Ito yung example nito is microcomputer, which can be used for games, spreadsheet, and so on. However, it is lack in speed and efficiency since it is designed to handle a wide range task where it lead to a compromise in performance. While the specific purpose computers have several advantages. It is designed to perform specific tasks or in a particular purpose, which is mas mabilis and mas efficient than the general. Also, mas reliable, less prone errors and malfunctions. Next, the classifications under data handling. There are three types of computer: the analog, digital, and hybrid. The analog computer is not the very common computer. It comes from the word analogous, which means similar. These computers are used in a specific engineering. It is also useful for solving problems that involves variables and so on. Example are thermometers and electric meters. Next, the digital computer. It is used for business, scientific purpose. Such example of this is calculators. Hybrid. It is combines functions of digital and analog signals in which they work by measuring and counting data. Last is the classifications under its size. So, supercomputers, it is the most fast and powerful computers. They are very expensive na kaya mag-execute ng madaming calculations. They are beyond other machine systems capabilities. It is large and huge. Next is the mainframe computer. Large computer with huge storage capacity and an expensive computer used for business or in government organization to perform different tasks. The next is mini computer, smaller than the mainframe computer but bigger than microcomputer. So, katamtaman. And it can be used by many people at the same time. Hindi siya mabilis like mainframe computer. Next is the microcomputer. It is the smallest type of computer and not that fast, and mahal siya, and can be used at home, school, offices, etc. It can serve one person at a time na kung saan masasabing ito ay hindi siya pang kalahatan. Kumbaga, hindi siya pang madami, pang isang tao lamang. Microcomputer examples are desktops, computer, laptop, palm-top computer. Desktop is a personal microcomputer sufficient to fit on a desk. And then yung laptop, portable computer complete with an integrated screen and keyboard. Generally, smaller than the desktop computer. The palm-top computer, hand size, computer on keyboard, I know keyboard, but the screen serves as an input and output device. Last is workstations. Workstations is a terminal desktop computer in a network. It is the server or mainframe of user's machine.